Hello everybody on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining me here at Nimbus Gaming. My name is Kobe, and for today we have somewhat of another Warframe tier list. However, this isn't necessarily based on opinions or actual gameplay. This is pretty much just based on how strong a Warframe actually is canonically, or how powerful they would be if they were to exist in the real world, essentially. Right? So without further ado, let's get into the list. And just to preface this, most of my lore bits will be taken from Warframe, the Warframe wiki, as well as any information that I have in game, as well as using the hints and evidence used in all of your actual abilities when you use them in game. So essentially, how the ability works in game will essentially um, I'll be biased towards that depending on how it looks and all of that stuff, right? So how the mechanic actually works, I'll be judging it based off that and the lure, essentially, right? So without further ado, let's get into our tier list. And starting off with alphabetical order as usual, let's go ahead and start off with Ash. Before I even go ahead and start off, let's talk about the tiers, right? So we have S through D. S tier would be, all right, let's start off at D. So D tier for me would be anything above like a super soldier, I guess. Someone who would be more than powerful to be a super soldier, or someone that is above um, superhuman. However, not on the list where a small army couldn't take them out, or a nuclear superpower or something along the lines of that. C tier is pretty much just slightly above that. B tier, they're real threats, or they could actually wipe out civilizations. A tier, they'd be like, country level, I guess. S tier are warframes that are either able to change reality, warps time and space, anything that's essentially just reality breaking, or something that could wipe out an entire planet, basically, when it comes down to how their powers work. So that's S tier. A tier is slightly below that. B tier is below that. So if we're looking at it from like a anime point of view, it'd be like, S tier would be like planetary, or universal, I guess. A tier would be like country. B tier would be like city, and C tier would be like mountain or something along the line of that. Stuff like that. Typical anime power scaling. So without further ado, let's actually get into the meat of the matter and start talking about how powerful some of these warframes are. So starting off with the ninja himself, let's start off with Ash, right? So Ash is essentially just a ninja. His entire kit revolves around him being stealthy. He's, if we're looking to how exactly how his kit works, he has shurikens at all times, which I'm assuming they're infinite, and they never miss. He's able to go invisible. He's able to teleport, or to switch, well, not switch places, to teleport to people. I guess that's based on his vision and line of sight. So if he's able to see you, he's able to teleport to you, right? And also, when it comes down to his fourth ability, based on how it works in game, and just based on the necessary lore tidbits of the Scoria and all that stuff, it seems that he's able to duplicate himself, or make at least clones of himself to then fight, because based on how Bladestorm works, once you cast Bladestorm, you're able to still walk around as Ash, right? The previous version of this, in the older versions of the game, you'd actually teleport to the enemies and essentially ping pong around the map to enemies while doing Bladestorm. However, now it's just a bunch of like after images or a bunch of clones. So if we're looking at it as clones, he gets a higher tier based on that. If he's just moving extremely fast, well, it's still a great feat. However, based on, I'll be using the fact that he's able to multiply himself, or at least send out after images or clones. So with that being said, I'd put Ash in C tier, because if he's able to create clones, he's able to wipe out like potentially a whole, like, a city block by himself, right? Then we have Atlas. I'd put Atlas in A tier. Reason being, this guy punched a meteorite, right? In his lore, there was an asteroid slash meteorite that was going to destroy the planet. or destroy the planet that he was on. And to stop it, he jumped into space and punched the meteorite. I don't need to say anything else. This guy punches meteorites, right? He punches meteorites. Imagine if you were to put that force into punching a building, punching the earth, right? Simple. Banshee, I do know that Banshee is able to create like earthquakes or sound quakes. She's able to create tremors with sound, which could be very catastrophic. However, I don't think her abilities are in A tier based on how they work. The Soundquake by far is the best ability when it comes on to destructive capabilities in her kit, because silence essentially she's able to just devoid every one of their senses. However, when it comes on to actually putting out damage, it would be Soundquake, and we haven't seen it actually destroy infrastructure in game or actually in any of her trailers or any of that stuff, nor in her lore. It's pretty much just hurting the enemies while they stand there. So based on that logic, I'll be putting her in C, because from what I'm seeing, from the evidence that we have, it's like, oh, she shakes you, right? She does shake the floor, but we've never seen it do enough damage that it actually will tear down a building, right? And so for that, I'd put her above Ash, right? Baruch is D tier. Reason being, yes, he punches hard enough to essentially create pressure and launches that air pressure at you. However, he's a pacifist. He doesn't fight. He doesn't actually want to fight. Right? If you look into his lore and all of his entries, this guy doesn't want to fight. Baruch would pretty much rather not fight. Right? Yes, he's able to punch hard enough to essentially launch air at you. But yeah, Atlas punches meteorites. Right? Chroma is just a dragon. Let's leave it a beam. He's just a dragon. He is above Banshee and Ash, so I put him in B tier. So Chroma is able to, control the elements. However, his control over the elements is not necessarily like, oh, I'm able to control the elements. I'm able to replicate and reuse the elements, right? So it's not a case where he's able to actually influence the actual elements around him. He's able to just use them at will, right? So he's able to breathe fire, electricity, toxin, and frost breath. And that's pretty much it. He also has his pelt, which is just a sentient version of his skin that he sheds. Realistically, he should be in C tier, but being able to breathe the elements at any time is pretty tough, right? Ember, I believe Ember is. Would I put Ember in A tier, or I think I put Ember in S tier. All right. So reason being why I'm putting Ember in S tier. So the reason why I put Ember in S tier is mainly because of the fact that she is able to set. She's able to set anything on fire at any time, at her will, right? She's also able. We've seen her pull meteorites or create meteorites, and pull them down to hit enemies, right? That's the entire thing of her fourth ability, right? So we've been seeing Ember pull meteorites out of the air or create meteorites in the air and drop them on enemies. She's able to literally create a heat wave or flood a city with fire essentially. She's an S tier. She's able to drastically change the geology or geography of an area, right? I'm pretty sure Ember would be able to wipe out an entire city, right? She'd pretty much be able to wipe out all of New York City. I don't live in New York, I'm just using that as a reference. Or maybe I should put her in A tier. I'd put her in A tier. Let's put her in A tier. I'll put her and all the Warframes that are similar to her. A tier. Equinox. The reason being, putting Equinox in C tier, she's able to control the mood. Well, I mean, realistically, if she's able to, I think this would be more fair for her. Reason being, her entire kit revolves around emotions. She's able to like create or manipulate emotions to a point where she's able to put people at ease or put people at rest, or actually, enrage people, right? So, looking into it from a like a more deep point of view, if she's able to like looking at it from like a deeper point of view, if she's able to like put a large group of people or a large city of people in a rageful way, it's easy way to incite violence and incite actual chaos and riots and all of that stuff, which could be very detrimental to an actual society, right? Excalibur, I think Excalibur is just right here. Reason being, he's just a super soldier, but he's definitely better than Ash. He's able to blind a large group of people at any time, using his lights of his sword. He's able to move extremely fast. I mean, Ash does that as well. However, he's also able to pull out an exalted weapon that fires off laser beams. He's a slightly better Ash. Frost is the exact same as Ember. Frost is the exact same thing as Ember. His kit is pretty much similar to hers when it comes on to how they work and exactly what they do, right? Ember's heat, he's cold. You get what I'm saying. Gara. Do I think Gara is that strong? No, not really. No, not really. She just throws glass. He just throws glass around, man. He just throws glass around. But I will give it to her. She does a lot more damage and a lot more actual potential than Excalibur. Well, no, Excalibur's. I'll leave it right here. You guys can tell me where you think Gara belongs. For me, it's indecisive. It's either right there or below Excalibur when it comes down to how dangerous she is or how powerful she is based on her kit and all the lore. Because based on all the lore, she was able to beat an Eidolon. And she ended up having to blow herself up to beat said Eidolon. So, you know, Garuda. I put Garuda here. I put Garuda below Ash. The reason being why I'm putting Garuda this low, based on how her abilities work in game, and based on we don't have any lore on her, so but based on how her abilities work in game, she uses her blood, right? So she's like a bloodbender from Avatar, and she's using her own blood based on what we're seeing and based on how her abilities work. So it's at a point where she's able to manipulate the blood in others. She's just able to use her blood to use it as weapons. And at the end of the day, it's just a ninja with weapons, right? Gauss. I'd put Gauss here. I'd put Gauss above Ember and Frost. I'd put him above Atlas as well. Gauss is able to move at Mach speeds. I don't know exactly what Mach, but he's able to move at Mach speeds, right? So he's able to either break the sound, he's able to either break the barrier of sound or light. We're not exactly sure if he's faster than light, but we know he's probably faster than sound. When it comes on to Ash's actual speed, he's probably just fast. He's probably faster than sound. I don't think he's light speed, but based on the lore, I'm pretty sure he's probably faster than sound. We've seen him travel faster than bullets. We've seen him pass bullets and slow down time. To be how fast he's moving, he's messing with time. Volt does this as well. So Volt is also able to stop time. Well, not stop time, but move fast enough where it seems time is slowing down, which Gauss can do. But Gauss also has the ability to instantly freeze an area or instantly set an area ablaze, right? And he can do it on pretty much the exact same scale as Frost or Ember based on how his kit works, right? And he's able to actually push his abilities even further using Redline. So I believe he's better than everyone here in A tier so far. Grendel is our first S tier. This guy has a black hole in his stomach. I don't need to say anything else. Grendel has a black hole in his stomach. Okay. And that's it. Grendel has a black hole in his stomach. Whenever Grendel opens his stomach in-game, the entire tile set or the entire place that we're at currently should cease to exist. Like wiped out of reality. Harrow. I know that Harrow was the Warframe that Rel used to essentially hold off Wally. However, if we're really looking into it, does that make Harrow strong? Or does that just mean that Rel was extremely strong? Because Harrow's kit is, oh, he can capture you with some chains. He can, whenever you deal damage to him, it boosts his damage based on how his fort works. But realistically, Harrow's kit doesn't really do anything that great when it comes down to actual damage output. However, if we're looking at him as Rel, then he's probably higher A tier, lower S tier. However, I'm going to be looking at it as a random Tenno using a Harrow Warframe. I'm not looking at it as Rel, because Rel was probably the strongest Tenno apart from ourselves, right? So I'm going to put Harrow in lower than Garuda. I'm sorry. Hildren is Muscle Mommy. She's able to slightly fly, slightly hover. She dumps out a bunch of radiation. It does, yeah, I think she does radiation damage. She has her exalted weapons. She's able to remove the armor, and based on how she removes armor, I'm assuming that it's just a wall of radiation. For her, I'd put her in like B tier. What reason being because there's other Warframes that have a similar gimmick or a similar type of damage that is above her. Inaros throw sands in your face, or throw sand in your face. He's able to create like a mini tornado while it's being himself, but based on how we see this tornado work in game and based on his lore, it's not strong enough to like really destroy anything. He's just able to like grab a bunch of people. So he's D tier. As a matter of fact, he's higher than. As a matter of fact, he should be here. Yeah, he should be here. I don't know why I put him here. Yeah, he should be here. Putting him in D tier would just be stupid, because what he brings to the table is pretty much a little bit better than what those guys bring. He's able to throw sand in your face. He's able to create sand cats. He's able to create a small tornado, suck people up, and all that stuff. So yeah. Ivara is she's just an archer. She's just an archer. Cora, she's just a dominatrix. She's just a lady with a whip and a big cat. I did not mean that in any other way than that she has Venari with her. And she's able to, she's like here. Yeah, she's like here. No, she's better than Harrow. She's more dangerous than Harrow. Next S tier, Warframe, Limbo. Limbo is able to essentially create his own, well, he has his own realm or rift in reality, where he can literally just take anyone at any time. He can create cataclysms with said. He can bring that realm or that rift into reality, and based on how actual physics work in real life, what Limbo does should be able to destroy the fabric of reality. And that's all he needs to be an S tier Warframe. He's able to warp space and time, essentially. He's able to warp reality, so, yep. He's like down here. As a matter of fact, he should be worse than Harrow. He's just a guy. Limbo is just a guy. He's just a worst version of Ash. He's able to create a party trick. He's able to teleport. The teleportation is the best thing in his kit. And oh, wow, he can remove people's guns from their hands. That's a cool party trick, my guy. Bro is literally just a kid's birthday party magician. That's all Limbo is. As a matter of fact, he should be below or down there with as a matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna put him down there because the teleportation is the only thing in this kit that makes sense or does anything realistically, and the invisibility. He's above Baruch. The Baruch is just a guy that doesn't want to fight. Mag is S tier. She controls magnetism. Based on that logic alone, she should be able to, if we're scaling it to the upper power level of what her abilities would be able to do, she should be able to throw a planet off its axis completely, or even to be at a point where she should be able to like move the mantle or move any form of metal. She should be able to just move. Well, she does it in game where she uses the metal in enemies' bodies. Based on that alone, she should be able to influence gravity heavily. Mesa, she's just and I'm not gonna say that. That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke. I was gonna say she's just LAPD. But I'm not gonna say that. Well, I did. But you know, Mesa is like here. Mesa is above her because Mesa essentially has an unlimited arsenal. She never misses. She's like Steph Curry with pistols. Mirage. Mirage is able to turn anything into bombs, as well as she's able to throw out a sphere that fires lasers that can disintegrate people or disintegrate enemies. So realistically, she should be up here. She's above Equinox. I mean, he's like here. Necros. I think Necros is a B tier. Reason being, he's able to punch the soul out of people or anyone that he hits. He's able to bring back souls that he's killed from the dead. Yeah, that's pretty much his whole stuff. Anyone that he punches a soul of, he can then use them as zombies, and that would be broken if he were to get loose in a city or anything of that sort before they're able to stop him. Neja is like a pseudo. He's like a pseudo Ember based on how his kits work and Firewalker and all of that stuff. Nidus, I believe Nidus would be an S tier Warframe. He's either S tier or slightly above. Yeah, he's S tier. Is Nidus S tier? Because based on the information that we have, Nidus could start a plague, like a full-on pandemic type plague, and that literally could just wipe out a planet. Yeah, he's there. Nova is S tier as well. She controls antimatter and creates antimatter. Similar thing based on what Grendel. Around Grendel seems similar thing to Grendel. She's just not as powerful as, well, as a matter of fact, she is. Yeah, she is. Nyx is similar to like Equinox when it comes down to the whole mind control thing. However, based on how their abilities work, it seems that Equinox is able to actually influence people a lot more easily than Nyx. Based on how his powers work, he seems to have like telekinesis, as well as able to dish out a bunch of like radiation. B tier. Octavia. Octavia is similar to Banshee based on how the abilities work. She's able to use sound as weapons. I don't think she's anywhere above anyone else. I think she's like right above Banshee, because the main output of her mallet and resonator is the fact that enemies shoot at it, and if enemies aren't hitting her or shooting at her, then the damage doesn't get redirected. So yeah, Protea. Protea is able to warp time. She's able to move through time, or at least move back in time. So yeah, based on how her actual time travel abilities work, I don't think she's that dangerous when it comes on to anything major, because realistically, she's just a person with a bunch of gadgets that can move through time, right? She's like Doctor Who. So yeah. Revenant is able to mind control. Yeah, he's able to mind control, do like Dance Macabre and stuff like that. I don't think he's like super powerful. I think he's also a C tier Warframe. Definitely better than Gara. Rhino, Rhino's lore tells us exactly what he's capable of. Rhino eats people. Rhino is able to wipe. Rhino is also able to stomp hard enough to stop time. Like, that doesn't get talked about enough. People never really read what his fourth ability does. He's able to stomp hard enough to stop time, to disrupt time and put all the enemies in stasis. That's what his fourth ability does. He's able to stomp hard enough. He's able to put out enough force where it halts time. Yeah. Saren is just the same thing. She's the same thing as Nidus, but I think Nidus is a little bit better. I think Nidus is based on how his plague spreads. or how his plague is, it's a lot more detrimental to society than Saren's. I think Saren's like bubonic plague type thing, and his is like The Last of Us. So yeah, Titania, she's just a fairy. She's a fairy with guns and stuff. She's not that crazy. Trinity, she's quite literally. No, she's not really that dangerous. Valkyr, she's just an angry cat lady. Vauban, he's just a guy with gadgets. I mean, he's able to do orbital strikes, so he's like, I'll not say that either. Volt is similar to Ember and Frost. Wisp is able to open a portal to the sun. She's able to literally hold the sun or a portal to the sun in her hand and redirect all that energy to wherever she wants. I don't think I need to explain exactly why that's dangerous or how that's dangerous. Wukong. I mean, with Black Myth Wukong being out, if he's able to actually do the things that Wukong is able to do, then he should be S tier. However, based on the Warframe itself, he's slightly immortal. He's able to turn into a cloud. He's able to split himself into two. He's not really that crazy. He's just slightly above the rest of the Warframes in C tier. Zaku. I mean, where would I put Zaku? Yeah, that's where I'd put Zaku. Zaku is able to like use the weapons that you use against him against you. Essentially, he's able to take your weapons and turn them against you. He's able to shed his skin and throw it at everyone as projectiles in a large area. He's able to capture a person and turn them into a energy source to essentially remove the defenses of anyone that's around. He's also able to mind control to some degree. He uses void energy, which realistically should just be something that erases existence if we're looking at it from any other point of view. But yeah, so I put him there. Zephyr is able to create tornadoes, bigger tornadoes than Wukong. If we're looking at it from like a highball point of view, she should be able to create tornadoes that could wipe out a city based on everything that we've seen in game and based on how tornadoes work in real life. So I put her in A tier. Daggith. I think Daggith would just be like something similar to like a Grim Reaper. She's able to summon her horse. She's able to essentially curse people because realistically that's exactly what Doom is. It's pretty much just cursing people or cursing people. So I put her probably like here. Alright, so Caliban is able to summon. Caliban is able to summon like a small army, or just a bunch of bros. Caliban is able to summon a bunch of bros. He's able to fire off laser beams. I don't think I'd put him anywhere above like. I'd probably put him above Revenant. So yeah, Dante, A tier. Dante is a wizard. Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love casting spells. But yeah, he's pretty much just a guy that's able to just throw out a bunch of spells. He's able to slice up a bunch of areas just by waving his hands around. He's able to summon birds. He's able to summon other weapons, or a second version of his weapon that he's using, which is his Wisdom of War. Yeah, he's just a wizard. Yeah, he's just a wizard. He's very smart. He's just a very smart wizard. Let's see here. Jade. Jade is just a beat. It's just a freaking attack helicopter. Yep, that's exactly what she is. She's an attack helicopter. I put Gyre or Gyre. I put Gyre in B tier. Based on how her abilities work, she's just a slightly worse version of Volt. However, I do enjoy playing Gyre a lot more, or Gyre a lot more in game than Volt. But based on how their powers work, I'm talking about how powerful they be canonically. Volt is definitely more powerful. So yeah, that's where Stanex would be. He's able to summon astral projections of his fallen comrades to aid him in battle. He's able to give himself more defense. You know, he's able to throw spears really hard. But yeah, that's where I put him. This guy right here is just Chernobyl on legs. He is just Chernobyl on legs. Kullervo can teleport. He's able to make it rain knives. He's like here. Lavos is an alchemist. I'd put him like here. Sevagoth is pretty much just the Grim Reaper. He's able to use his shadow as weapons, or as a weapon itself. He can't die essentially. He's able to lock down an entire area of people by slowing them down or paralyzing them with like glue, which is very dangerous if I'm being honest. So I put him like somewhere here. He's bigger than that. Varuna. Boom. Yeah. A tier for Hydroid. Dude is able to create acid rain anywhere he feels like. She's just an e-girl. Citrine, she's really about helping people more than actually hurting people, so she's pretty much either going to throw rocks at you or she's going to hit you with the power of the rainbow. So yeah. Am I missing any frames? I don't think I'm missing any frames, but this is exactly how I'd put Warframes based on how powerful they are canonically, or how powerful they'd be in the real world, based on how their abilities work and based on their lore. This right here is my list when it comes down to that. If you guys see anything here that you think would be, should be changed around or moved around, just let me know in the comments. I'll be looking forward to reading your guys' comments and seeing exactly what you guys think as well. Because some of these Warframes, I do believe that if you guys are able to, you know, do some more research than me, or also, you know, essentially know exactly how their abilities would affect reality in itself, then just let me know. Because I'd be more than happy to learn a little bit more. Hope you guys found this video entertaining. And yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by. My name is Kobe. Have a wonderful day.